In this video, I am going to explain piecemeal distribution. This is one of the important concept which comes under dissolution of a partnership firm. First, let us see what is the basic concept of dissolution of a partnership firm briefly. Dissolution of a partnership firm. So, dissolution of a partnership firm means closing down the undertaking or suspending permanently the activities of a partnership business. A single partner or all the partners insolvent. So insolvency is also one of the main reason for dissolution. Complete shutdown or complete breakdown or complete suspending permanently the activities of a partnership business is called dissolution of a firm. Okay, if all the partners dissolve, all the partners agree to dissolve the firm means then it will be called as dissolution of a firm. Okay, so here in other words, the complete breakdown of a partnership and partners do not continue the firm. So in case of dissolvency or a dissolution, then the partners cannot continue their business. It's a complete breakdown. The agreement will be comes to an end is called dissolution of a partnership firm. Okay, so at the time of dissolution, they need to follow a simple procedure. The procedure is all the assets are disposed of and liabilities are paid off, and whatever remains is paid to the partners in settlement of their accounts, which means the partner need to realize all the assets. All the assets will be sold off at the best price and the liabilities will be paid off. Okay, after making payment to third parties, that is liabilities, if there is any residual amount, that is balance amount, that will be payable to partners in settlement of their accounts. This is the simple procedures regarding dissolution of a partnership firm. So one of the main assumption is all the assets are realized. Realized means sold off, and all the liabilities are paid off immediately on the date of dissolution. This is the main assumption regarding dissolution of a partnership firm. But in practice, all the assets are not sold off or not realized on the same date. Why? Because they will realize cash. They will sell the assets only at the best price, and this will be happen gradually. Okay, all of a sudden they cannot sell entire assets. All the assets will be realized one by one gradually, and the liabilities will be paid off according to the availability of cash. Okay, so this is the actual thing will be happen. Okay, now let us see the procedure of piecemeal distribution. I told you no. So dissolution means selling off all the asset and making payment to liabilities and capital. Let us see the piecemeal distribution procedure. In piecemeal distribution, first we need to understand the order of payment. So I told you piecemeal distribution means realize cash, that is selling all the asset and realize the cash, and the amount will be payable to liabilities, and if there is any residual amount, that is balance amount, that will be payable to partners capital account. Okay, so now let us see the order of payment. So in piecemeal distribution, the first one is payment to creditors and other external liabilities. So first thing is you need to pay external party after realizing the cash, after realizing all the asset. The first they need to make payment to third party liabilities. Third party liability means external liabilities. For example, creditors, bank OD. Okay, so bank loan or any other amount taken from the outsiders is called third party or external liability. So the first preference will be given to third party. The first one is payment to creditors and other external liabilities. For example, if you have two liabilities, two external liability, one is bank loan and creditor, means you need to find the proportion, you need to find the ratio. According to the ratio, we need to settle the claims to external liability and creditors. So the first preference will be given to creditors and other external liability, and second preference is payment to partners loan ratably. Okay, payment to partners loan means so apart from capital, some partner they may lend amount to partnership firm as loan. Okay, after making payment to external liability, the second preference goes to partners loan. If we have two loans, for example, if we have three partners A, B, C, and we have borrowed money from A and B as loan, means now we have to find the proportion, that is ratio. So according to the ratio, we need to make payment to A and B according to ratable, according to ratio. So the first preference will be creditors and external liability, and second preference goes to partners loan, and third one, the final one, is if any amount remains after making payment to external liability and partners loan, if we have any excess amount or balance amount, that will be payable to partners capital account. That is, if any amount remains after making above payments, this is utilized in payment of capitals to the partners. So this is the procedure or order of payment. While you make payment, that is piecemeal distribution, here we have two methods. Okay, first one is proportionate capital method or surplus capital method, and second method is maximum loss method. Okay, we have two methods. According to any one method, they'll make payment to all liabilities. Now let us see the first one, proportionate capital method. That is the first method, proportionate capital method. A, B and C are in partnership. The following is their balance sheet as at 31st December 2015, on which date they dissolved partnership. They share profit in the ratio of 3:2:1. Balance sheet is given. Liability side, three partners capital is given. Creditors 50,000. A's loan 10,000. Total 2,60,000. Look at the asset side. Premises 80,000. Plant 40,000. Stock 50,000. Debtors 90,000. Total 2,60,000. It was agreed to repay the amounts due to the partners as and when the assets were realized wise. These are the three different realization. So first realization amount 40,000, second one 93,000, and third one 60,000. Okay, with this they ask you to prepare statement showing how the distribution to the partner should be made. So here we have three different realization amount. Now they ask you to prepare a statement showing how the distribution of amount, the distribution of the realization amount to partners. So we can prepare in two different methods. The first one is proportionate capital method, and second one maximum loss method. So first I am going to explain proportionate capital method with this problem. See the format. Statement showing distribution of cash. So this is the column for cash realization. Here you need to write the total realization amount, and these are the order of distribution. The first preference goes to creditors and third party liability. No. So in this problem we have creditors, and second one A's loan, that is partners loan. Here we have A's loan, and the third priority goes to partners capital. Here we have three partners. No, A, B and C. See the order of payment. First preference goes to payment to creditors and other external liabilities. Look at the format. The first one is a creditor. So from the first realization you have to pay creditors. Second preference to payment to partners loan. Here we have A's loan. Okay, second preference to A's loan. Okay, after making payment to creditors and third party liability and second one partners loan, if there is any remaining amount, that will be payable to partners capital. Look at the problem. Under liability side, three partners capital is given. Creditors 50,000, A's loan 10,000. According to the order of payment, we have prepared the statement showing distribution of cash. So in that statement, we have written creditors first. Creditors column first. And A's loan second preference. A's loan column is there. And third preference goes to partners capital account. Okay. So A is 1 lakh, B 60,000, C is 40,000. Okay, third preference capital account. Here we have separate column for each and every partner. Before you prepare the statement showing distribution of cash, you need to prepare this calculation. This working note is very, very important. First, you need to prepare this calculation. After finding the absolute surplus, then you can go for statement showing distribution of cash. Okay, here according to proportionate capital method, the first calculation is statement showing calculation of absolute surplus. So absolute surplus means the amount payable to partners whose capitals are relatively in excess of their profit sharing ratio is calculated. So that I am going to explain here with a simple procedure. To find out the surplus, you have to start with any amount due to partners, that is their capital account. So A is capital 1 lakh, B is capital 60,000, C is capital 40,000. When you take the capital account, see that if there is any profit or loss, whether it is a profit or loss, that amount is belong to partners capital account. Okay, if you find any loss, which will be given in the asset side. If there is any profit, that will be given in the liability side. If you find any profit, that will be added back along with their capital, because that profit is belong to partners. Okay, that will be added along with their capital according to their profit sharing ratio. And if there is any loss, that will be subtracted from the partner's capital account, because in partnership, whether the profit or loss, that will be shared by the partners according to their profit sharing ratio. If profit sharing ratio is not there means, then you can divide the profit or loss equal basis among the partners. This is the first step, but in this problem we didn't have any loss or profit, so directly you can start with their capital. Capital A is capital 1 lakh, B is capital 60,000, C is capital 40,000. So here we are going to find the absolute surplus. So absolute surplus means whose capital is excess, that will be identified with the help of this statement. So start with their capital. A is 1 lakh, B is capital 60,000, C is capital 40,000. Their profit sharing ratio is 3:2:1. Okay, now you need to find base capital. For that, just take their capital and divide with their proportionate ratio. After finding the base capital will be multiplied with their respective profit sharing ratio, and that amount will be subtracted from the capital. Okay, so this I am going to explain you now. Just see the calculation. Subtract base capital. Here you need to take the partners capital separately and divide with their respective profit sharing ratio, and you can find some amount, and after that find out whose capital, whose amount is least value, that will be taken as a base capital. And after finding the least amount, again you need to multiply the base capital with the respective profit sharing ratio. So let us see the calculation. So first one, A is capital. So A is how much? 1 lakh, no. So 1 lakh divided by his ratio 3, no. Divided by 3. B is capital how much? 60,000, no. 60,000 divided by his ratio 2. Divided by 2. And C is how much? 40,000. 40,000 divided by his ratio 1. So you have taken their partner's capital divided by their proportionate profit sharing ratio. Now find out the value. 1 lakh divided by 3. 33,333. 60,000 divided by 2. 30,000. 40,000 divided by 1. 40,000. After calculating this amount, now you have to find out whose amount is least value. 33,333 or 30,000 or 40,000. Which one is least? 30,000 is least. So this will be a base capital. Now you have to multiply this amount with their profit sharing ratio in order to subtract from the capital. So 30,000 is a base capital, no? So 30,000 into 3, 90,000. 30,000 into 2, 60,000. 30,000 into 1, 30,000. Okay, now find the difference. 1 lakh minus 90,000, balance 10,000. 60,000 minus 60,000, nil. This amount is called surplus. Okay, so we have found surplus amount after subtracting base capital from their capital. So this amount is called surplus. Then go for second step. Again you have to find out the base capital and subtract that amount from the surplus. Minus base capital. Same procedure. 10,000 divided by 3 10,000 divided by 1. 3,333. For B, 10,000 divided by 1, 10,000. Whose capital is least value? 3,333 or 10,000? This is the least amount. No. So this will be taken as a base capital. That is 3,333 into 3, 10,000. 3,333 into 1. For A, 10,000 minus 10,000, nil, nil. 10,000 minus 3,333, 6,667. This amount is called absolute surplus. This is the procedure to find the absolute surplus. When you start distributing the amount to partner's capital, you have to follow this procedure. The first preference goes to C, that to this amount. Okay. And after settling this amount, then go for the second step. This is the second step. Okay, first preference goes to C and second preference goes to A and C. Then go to third step. Third step is, that is A 90,000, B 60,000 and C 30,000. If we didn't have sufficient amount means the available amount will be distributed among A, B and C according to this proportion, that is 3:2:1. That is 90,000 is to 60,000 is to 30,000. Then you will be getting 3:2:1. So according to this proportion, you have to distribute the remaining amount to all three partners according to their ratio. This is the procedure to make payment to partners capital account. Okay. So when you start distributing the amount to partners capital, you need to see this absolute surplus calculation. First preference to C, that to this amount only, and second preference A and C, this will be the proportionate amount, and third preference will be A, B, C according to their proportion. So these are the three different steps to make payment to partners capital account. Now let us see the piecemeal distribution according to proportionate capital method. According to the order of payment, first preference to third party liabilities, that is creditors 50,000, and second preference to partners loan, that is A's loan 10,000, and third one is partners capital account. Balance brought down. Creditors 50,000, A's loan 10,000, capital, A's capital 1 lakh, B's capital 60,000 and C's capital 40,000. Look at the problem. First realization how much? 40,000. First realization 40,000, no. Total realization 40,000. This will be given to creditors. Okay, paid. The entire amount is given to creditors because the first order of payment is creditors and third party liability, no. So the entire amount is given to creditor. Still we need to pay some amount to creditors. 50 minus 40, 10,000 due. A's loan 10,000, capital 1 lakh, for A 1 lakh, for B 60,000, for C 40,000. We are supposed to pay 50,000 but we have only 40,000. So entire amount is given according to the order of payment. So now we have 10,000 balance due to creditors and 10,000 to A's loan, and these are the capital amount due to three partners. So now go for the second realization. Total realization amount is 93,000. According to the order of payment, the first preference goes to creditor. We are supposed to pay 50,000, no, but we have paid only 40,000 from first realization. We yet to pay 10,000 rupees to creditor, and according to the order of payment, second preference goes to A's loan account. How much? 10,000. Altogether, how much amount is required? 10,000 to creditors and 10,000 to A's loan account. So total 20,000 is required. So first take 20,000 from 93,000. 93 minus 20,000. We have taken 20,000 from 93,000 and pay the amount to creditors and loan. Nil balance. We have settled the entire amount to creditors and we have settled 10,000, the full amount, to A's loan account. According to the order of payment, we have paid first one and second one. Now you have to start paying amount to capital account. See, from 93,000 we have utilized 20,000. How much balance we have? 73,000. From 73,000 you have to start distribute to partners capital account. For A 1 lakh, for B 60,000, for C 40,000. Total we need 2 lakhs. That is 1 lakh plus 60,000 plus 40,000. So total 2 lakhs is required. But we have only 73,000. So in order to distribute this amount to partners, you need to follow the previous calculation which we have made. While you start distributing the amount to partners capital, you need to follow this order. Here we have got 6,667 for C as absolute surplus. So first you need to settle this amount to C. How much amount? 6,667. First take 6,667 from 73,000 and distribute this amount to C. 6,667. No payment to A and B. Okay. So after making payment to C, that is the absolute surplus amount, is C, no. So first you have to settle this amount to C. After paying this amount, this is the due amount to C. How much? 33,333. For A, B, same amount, 1 lakh and 60,000. According to the absolute surplus calculation, we have made payment to C. Now we have 66,333 as balance from the second realization. For the next distribution, just refer the absolute surplus calculation. Step 1, we have paid this. Now go for the step 2. Step 2 is for A 10,000, for B 3,333. Total how much is required? 13,333. We have 66,333. No, from this take 13,333. Okay, this amount will be given to A and C. For A 10,000, for C 3,333. 90,000, 60,000, 30,000. Okay. So after making payment to A and C, according to the absolute surplus calculation, still we have some balancing figure from the second realization. Just find out the balance. 53,000 balance. Now refer the surplus calculation for the next step. Step 2 is over. We have paid 10,000 to A and 3,333 to C. Now go for the step 3. Step 3 is A 90,000, B 60,000, C 30,000. Total how much amount is required? 1,80,000 is required. According to the absolute surplus, we need 1,80,000 in order to distribute the amount to A, B and C. But we have only 53,000 from second realization. So now we have to distribute this amount according to their ratio. The ratio is 3:2:1. So distribute this entire amount to A, B and C according to their ratio. 3:2:1. 53,000 into 3 by 6, 53,000 into 2 by 6 and 53,000 into 1 by 6. 26,500. For A 26,500. For B 17,667. You can round up the figure. For C 8,833. Balance due. Now we have utilized the entire 93,000, that is the second realization amount also distributed according to the absolute surplus calculation. Now we need to pay this amount to A, B and C. This is the balance due. Now go for third realization. Third realization on 1st June 2016, 60,000. 60,000. Look at the absolute surplus. We have settled the entire amount. That is according to this calculation. This is the first step. We have paid this amount to C. Second step is 10,000 to A and 3,333 to C. This amount also we have paid. In the third step, we need to have 90,000 plus 60,000 plus 30,000. Altogether 1,80,000 is required. Okay, but from the second realization, we have already paid 53,000. Now what is the balancing figure? 1,27,000 yet to pay. Now go for the third realization. Third realization amount is 60,000. Okay, so for the third step, we need to have 1,27,000 in order to settle the entire amount. But we have only 60,000. This is the final realization. That is last realization amount 60,000. We need to distribute this amount according to their ratio. That is 3:2:1. So 60,000 amount, 60,000 will be given to A, B and C according to their profit sharing ratio. 3/6, 2/6 and 1/6. 30,000, 20,000 and 10,000. So after making payment to A, B and C, that is the 60,000 amount is distributed to A, B, C. What is the balancing figure here? 33,500. 22,333, 11,167. So this is the amount called as loss on realization. See, we have done the piecemeal distribution. That is, we have paid amount to creditors and we have settled the entire amount to A's loan and the remaining amount. So from the three realization amount, after making payment to creditors and loan, the balance amount is distributed to partners capital according to absolute surplus method, and now we have some balance amount. So this amount is called unpaid amount to partners capital. The unpaid balance of capital will represent loss on realization. Loss on realization total amount is 33,500, 22,333 plus 11,167. Total 67,000. Now you can cross check this answer with the problem. Look at the problem. What is the total value of asset? 2,60,000. Total assets. How much? 2,60,000. And compare this value with the total realization. How much first realization? 40,000. Second realization 93. Third realization 60. Total. How much total? 1,93,000. Minus 1,93,000. What is the difference? 2,60,000 minus 193. 67,000. That is loss on realization. Loss on realization how much? 67,000. You can cross check your answer like this. In the piecemeal distribution calculation, we have discussed proportionate capital method, that is surplus capital method. In the next video, I am going to explain maximum loss method. Hope you all understood this concept. Thank you.